something that is important when you get to supplemental essays, okay? Some people, hopefully you guys aren't applying to a ton of programs. We usually say the max number we recommend people apply to is 9. If you're applying to more than 9, something is wrong, okay? The shotgun approach to applying to PT school is not effective and it's really expensive. So that's a conversation for another day. But also, if you have 20 applications that you need to complete, you likely are going to have multiple supplemental essays for each one of those schools. Let's say each one of your programs you're applying to has 2 supplemental essays. That's 40 essays you have to complete. That's ridiculous. So please do yourself a favor, narrow down your list of schools, make sure you're applying to programs that you really are interested in and you have a good shot of getting into, okay? So you can also do a trick called essay stacking, okay? Supplemental stacking. Programs don't see what you submit to other programs, okay? So if I have program A and program B, and they both have supplemental essays that are basically the same, I can write one essay for program B, and I can take that same supplemental essay and give it to program B, or program A and then give it to program B, okay? So many of these prompts are going to overlap. So you can stack your essays, and after you write 2 to 3 essays, you can just start reusing material from one or another supplemental essay. And before you know it, you can have a completed essay in like 10 to 15 minutes. And then you just smooth out the transitions between the different areas that you pull in, okay? Please don't reuse your PTCAS essay. There are details in your PTCAS essay. Leave them there. If you have other things that you potentially would like to expand on or talk about in your supplementals, that's fine. But just don't include direct quotations or direct details from your PTCAS essay in your supplemental essays, because guess what? Everybody already has seen your PTCAS essay. You submit that to everybody, so everyone sees that. That would be embarrassing to put PTCAS essay material into your supplemental essays. But for supplemental essays, if you are able to reuse material, go for it. As long as it's going between different programs, nobody cares, right? Nobody's going to know either. Noah had a question I want to answer real quick. So is a patient interaction story viable if the patient was a client of mine in a community fitness program, not specifically a patient seeking PT at a clinic? That sounds fine, Noah. I think absolutely include it on your list of potentials that you could include, and then rank your options based on which one you feel like you demonstrate the greatest strengths in. So it is a possibility that you can do that. I wish I could give you guys more specifics, but without knowing the details of the stories and letting you know, that's what we do with our coaching clients. As we sit down with them, we look at all their stories, and then we give them an example of which ones we would recommend. Because you're hiring us as a consultant, right? It's your application, it's your essay. You get to decide what you include. But we give you recommendations based on our experience and the stories that you're giving us. Rachel, what do you recommend writing for a supplemental essay that has a similar prompt to the PTCAS essay? Great point, Rachel. This does happen quite a bit, right? So they've literally either taken the exact same essay and they put it in another one. I would not recommend you're putting in the same thing, even if the prompt is literally shot for shot. But what I would recommend, Rachel, is I would go back to all of my list of stories and strengths and experiences, and I would ask myself, what else can I add to my application? You look at your essays as a way to add context, detail, and depth to your application instead of being like, oh my gosh, I just need to write this again. Look at all of those essays as an opportunity to be a representation of who you are and what you're bringing to the table. And I know that that's hard when they have similar prompts between that and your PTCAS essay. Just take a step back and look at different stories that you can include and then go from there. Lexi, what about a prompt that asks if there is any other information I would like to include that may not have been in any of the other essays? Lexi, that is very similar to Rachel's question. Just go back to your inventory and say, what have I not shared yet that I really want to still share with them? And go back and add those things. Or if you've already completed some other supplementals, look at a really strong supplemental and say, maybe I'm going to include this over here. Okay. I hope that's helpful for you guys. Good questions though. So when it comes to stacking your supplemental application essays, you want to organize your essays based around topic and deadline. Okay. So these are the topics that are, maybe they're similar or they group together in these certain topics. And then look at your deadlines and say, okay, this one I need to submit September 15th. So I need to go ahead and get that submitted sooner. So I'm going to write that essay first. And then once you have that one completed, you can roll it into other essays that have similar prompts, but maybe their deadline is later. So again, have them ranked, grouped together in topics and ranked in order of deadline. And then also after your deadlines, you can look at which essays are the largest. So write these first, and then you're going to have more material that you can reuse for other shorter essays. So that's our recommendation is you write the bigger ones first,